Hello and welcome to Cinema Express. My name is Ram Venkat Srikar. Today we have with us sound designers Sachin Sudhakaran and Haran, whose body of work includes blockbuster films, like massive films like Master, Kaidi, and the recently released Marakkar, and Garuda Gamana Vrishabhahara, two as well as intimate smaller dramas like Bachelor, Game Over, and again the newly released Rocky. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey, hi Ram. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
We're
I'm
doing
doing
good, bro. We're doing good.
Thanks
so.
for inviting us.
Yeah, like I wanted to talk to you guys after watching Rocky, and it's been a couple of weeks since Rocky released, and it took us 2 weeks to get here. You guys have been pretty busy. What have you been up?
Hi,
What
hi.
have you been
Like
working on?
deadlines,
Okay.
deadlines, meeting up with deadlines and stuff. Yeah.
So speaking of deadlines, guys, walk me through how do you handle a project now? When you speak of deadline, is it about the release of a project, or how do you split your work? Is it like, do you like with this footage, is it scenes wise, or how is it done?
See, we have like a team of we are a team of six actually. So like me and Hari are sound designers, and we have like four sound editors,
Hmm.
and we have a foley team who does the foley work. So so when we get the reels, we split the work. Like one person does the atmospheric sounds, one guy does the vehicles.
Okay.
So that's how the work goes. Then uh, then as part of deadlines is like basically, yeah, towards the release date. So after our work, after sound design work, there's always sound mixing.
Hmm.
That's where the whole sound of the film is shaped.
Okay.
Like when the music, dialogues, and our sound effects, everything
Hmm.
combines into one, and the sound mixing engineer sweetens everything up. So that the delivery dates, delivery time of these outputs, so that those, I would say, like those deadlines and stuff. So now we were working on Valimai recently, so that was supposed to come
Okay.
on Pongal. Yeah, so that was going on.
You guys are done with Valimai. Is it logged? Is the final mix logged?
Yeah,
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 it is locked.
it is, yeah.
Okay. So is this how it works generally? Is sound always the last thing that culminates the post production? Is that how it
Yeah,
generally goes?
yeah, sound was the last. I think sound and I
Okay.
think they do like go parallelly. Yeah. So I think towards the end, we'll be mixing the sound will be, and the DI will be happening in the same side.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like it is like based like they split into reels and they give it to us
Hmm.
basically. And so for some movies, it happens like sync sound. If sync sound is there in the picture, our sync sound team will be going to the set. Like dialogues is recorded on the set. So
Hmm.
for in those kind of scenarios, sound starts like at the time of the shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So some sound-oriented movies like say Rocky, Game Over, and Maya, and all these kind of films, yeah, they kind of put us uh, like they give a preload, they give us the script, they involve us in the process,
Okay.
Yeah,
and
pre-production. Yeah.
yeah, for example, a film like Maya, they got us with the rough cut only. We started working with the rough cut, so it basically varies from project to project, but most of the films after the reels are locked, it comes to us during the dubbing stage and the thing. But sound-oriented films, for example, like since we're talking about Rocky, yeah, like he involved us in the script. He gave us a narration before, and he gave us script in because initially plans of for Rocky was to sing song, but then
Okay.
later due to budget constraints and so many factors, we could not do sing song. Then later, like we gave it like a sing song treatment at the mix. So yeah, mostly it is like it is done at the last stage. In the last stage, the video and the audio is merged. The DCP is done, and it's the show is like the entire output is watched in the cube or at the DI. And the last minute only, like the CBFC will approve and give us the cuts, and based on that cut, we'll be giving the output to the cube to merge the DCP and the
Make a
audio files.
DCP. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. ஒரு படத்துல சிங்க் சவுண்ட்னா இப்போ நீங்க சொல்லியிருந்தீங்க ஹரி சொல்லியிருந்தாரு that you guys are involved right from the pre-production, whereas non-sync sound illama panna padangalla, what's your when does your involvement, when do you get involved, and how does that different, how different does the whole process become when you are not involved right from the pre-production phase?
I think most of the films we are actually involved right from the pre-production. Like there's
Okay.
definitely the director gives us a narration, and or maybe the script for us to read, so that we get involved in the initial stages, so we know, like, we can plan out the soundscape, from the initial stages itself. Like if there's something to record during the shoot, or I can try giving some kind of suggestions to the director, some sound wise. So we mostly get involved in, even for non sing sound films, we do get involved in the beginning itself, because it makes a huge difference. Yeah. Because every department, they get involved in pre-production. Music, art, costume. So why, let sound also have some fun.
When we think about the sound of a film, it's the music is the first thing that comes to our mind, right? It's not the atmospheric, it's not
Right,
the
right.
those tiny details. They are not the first things that strike our mind. So what I was fascinated to know what is a sound department's dynamic with a music composer must be like, because at
Mm-hmm.
times the BGM, the score can be
Right.
dominating the atmospherics of the sound, right? And
Correct,
the other
correct, correct.
atmospherics, there will be scenes where atmospherics have to take over the music. For instance,
Right.
take, I think Helen, you guys worked on Helen, right?
Yeah.
So in Helen is one of my favorite things about Helen is when she's locked in that freezer,
Freeze up.
you keep hearing the sound of the refrigerator, the
Correct. The fan.
the screeches of the rat, those sounds.
Correct.
But there is
Correct.
also a BGM there. So
Right.
you tell me, how do you guys work with musician? Like, do you guys directly talk to musician, or how does that work out?
Yeah, and we do, like, some films we do get to interact with the music directors. So when the cut is ready, we do watch it with them, and so that we on the same wavelength, and we know, like, okay, what I'm going to do and what he's going to do, what the other person is going to do. So, and it's always what do you say, and also as the director's vision, as you say, like, some places, we got to go with sound effects, some scenes you've got to go with completely score. So that's also a director's vision. So I think when he's writing the script, or once he's locked it, uh, I think he'll have a kind of an idea. Like, okay, this place I need only with effects, this place only with music, or this place combine both. And also, I think during the mixing is where the most of the, I would say, iterations. We make out a lot of decision making is basically
Hmm.
happens during the sound mixing, because that's when we'll be there, the sound designers, the sound mixing engineer, director, and the music director. So
Okay.
everyone will be there, and everyone's aim is to make the sound of the film good. So what I'm saying is, the sound of the film means, like, it's got dialogues, the music, and sound design. So it's like all three combined is what makes the sound of a film.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of decision making happens mostly during the mix. Like,
Hmm.
some places we'll have to mute the effects. Sometimes we have to uh, mute the score, which very few music directors allow. And when
So
we are working, we do normally send our tracks to them.
okay.
Yeah, and they also do, send us their tracks, so that we know what kind of tones you're using, and they also know, okay, what kind of stuff we have done. Yeah,
Okay.
but we try maximum to do that, but because it's always last minute work. So, like, it's be sometimes be a little kind of difficult, like, to exchange tracks with the music director. It's mostly all the decision making is done at the mix stage, I would say. Yeah,
Okay.
because there's definitely there's going to be a experienced mixing engineer, so he'll give his inputs as well. So yeah, it's like a collaborative process in the end, so that makes us sound of the film.
Regardless of what makes it to the final mix, or what gets muted or what does not get muted, you guys record the soundscape for the whole film, for the
Yeah,
entire
yeah,
movie. Okay.
Yeah.
That's too much work, no? I mean, like if they choose to mute that, that's just work going in vain, right?
Yeah, I mean, we all are working towards the end for the film. What's for the betterment of the film, whatever sounds good for the film. Because some places, music will be there, effects will be there. It'll be too much of clashes. It'll
Hmm.
sound like waterfall.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, so it's better if either one of us goes down.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think,
I
yeah, majorly it is like you, like, yeah, director's involvement matters a lot. Like,
yeah,
uh,
definitely.
you take it as Rocky being in the picture, he's very clear that he doesn't want like like a story has to tell through sound only. So so few films that is why take more time than the actual. So he did not really put it was Rocky was not. You can see the difference in the output only. Rocky was not a film which was just done in 10 or 45 days. Like we had like close to 5-6 months to do the sound.
wow.
So it was only because like we were working on the ambiences and the
Yeah,
Foley's and
detailing.
everything. Yeah, like there is accuracy towards what is shown on the screen, and score is he knows like only where the emotion is there and it has to build up. I think the director is pretty much clear where the score has to come. So he knows that the film's soundtrack has to be morely like psychologically connecting towards the audience in terms of the ambience.
Hmm.
So if you take Rocky, the entire film, I would say like hardly 30 to 35 minutes is what the background score is.
Background score
The
would
rest,
be exactly
the rest is all the
Sound.
ambiences and
sounds and
there is one old uh, uh, track which is being played in the watch shop. Like for example, if you since he if you watch Aranyakandam, like Aranyakandam is also like that only, right? It's mostly scene
Uses
wise.
soundtracks
Yeah,
from other.
songs from
Hmm.
object
yeah,
from other sources. Yeah,
yeah, like from the radio or from an
Yeah.
exterior thing what is coming out. So I think yeah, it mostly depends on the genre also. Mostly like filmmaking as such conventionally it was like say in Tamil cinema it was like score is dominant. That's how it
Hmm.
is. So but now there are few directors who understand that it is not really it's a mix of both. So
both. Yeah,
yeah, so some US
I think
directors
even the
understand
general,
that, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, even the general audience are now pretty much aware of, like a lot of people are mentioning about sound designing,
Hmm.
sound. The movie sound is good, sound designing is good. So yeah, so it's kind
So
of changing right
you,
now.
before you guys became sound designers, I'm sure you were cinephiles who were following cinema ardently, right? So when before you became a part of this, when did you guys see that the soundscape in the industry was changing? When did you start sensing the change in the sound of films?
See, there were a couple of good films, like Raja Krishnan sir. He were mixed and worked on some particular films in Malayalam. It was all pretty good. It's all pretty uh, different. It was very different from the other films.
Hmm.
So we were
Premium.
lucky to work with him. He's like a mentor to us. So we were lucky to get trained under him and stuff like that.
So Hari, you would say the sound, whatever that you guys just said now, that the filmmakers have started understanding that it's not just about the music or it's not just about the sound, but it's about the amalgamation. இந்த புரிதல் கடந்த ஒரு 10-15 இயர்ஸா இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆயிருக்குன்னு நீங்க நினைக்கிறீங்களா?
Like it's definitely it is like now in the like as Sachin said, like say the last 10 years there are films like I'm not talking about only the films which we did. You take other films also. For example, I said Aranyakandam, and then there is Jigardanda, there is Premium. Like there are many films where you have a really good balance and you have ambiences being set. So what happens is the value for the background score also does increase when it comes at the right places. I think directors have pretty much like say the young filmmakers have got that in the picture in the last 10 years. Karthik Subbaraj for example, we worked on Pizza. So Pizza was a film where like there is like silence, a lot of silence involved, and that was scored by Santosh Narayan. There is songs in that. There is so much musical elements, but there are also equal spaces of silence, ambience, and police. Like there's a scene where he hits everything, and like there are so many sound like which we would have patched. Like if you take that film also, it is like say 60% of sound effects and say 40% of score. That Pira was one of the movies which changed. Jigar Danda, Premium, and yeah, I mean we can't say last 10 years. There was movies before that also. There was Pushpaka Vimanam, which was only a silent film.
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
So majorly in the last 10 years, you can see transition towards the balance of score and the sound effects, who understand the soundtrack of the film. Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly it is the music director who has to understand. So here Darbuka Shiva and in Maya Ron. So if the music director understands, I think that is also it's very hard. Like a lot of musicians work together to bring the soundtrack, and it is a very tough job for them also to accept that score shouldn't be there at the mix stage. So that is why you see many conventional films having more score. So I think if all of us work together and if the script and the content is being is focused, I think you'll get a balanced soundtrack. So even there are many conventional films where it's unwanted score is there and the audience ears are disturbed when they're coming out of the film.
Yeah, that's a complaint. A lot of
true.
Yeah. Right. So tell me, how does your rapport with a filmmaker affect your shape your work? Do you read the script and are you given the script, or how does that what are your interactions with filmmakers like? Do they tell you that I want sound to be at this level, I want this object sounds to be at this level, I want this atmospheric sounds to be at this level, or how does that happen, or is it a two-way discussion? How does that happen?
No, not necessary. Like say, actually, it is the mixing engineer's decision to actually keep it at what level. But the director also sees it, and he might probably see that this particular sound has a more prominence than the other sound, because the narrative wise it will connect to the stories, and in the end, the director and the writer is who decide what. I mean, like it should not what we play should not deviate from what he's trying to tell. The levels are not being decided by the director. The levels are being decided by the sound mixer, because they have
correct.
So
whereas the sounds, like depending on sound, what sound has to be there, what sound. So that's definitely like a two-way discussion. Like initially he'll give his inputs, like okay, this is what I'm looking at, this is a soundscape I'm looking at. So then when we improvise on that, add more stuff to it. So definitely it's like a two-way thing. So when the director comes and watches the work, then we have another discussion there, a round of discussion. So yeah, that's just a healthy discussion,
So now you guys just told me that you had nearly 5 to 6 months to work on Rocky, and that's you told that it's a real privilege, a real luxury to be given that time.
Yeah.
An average Tamil film or an average South Indian film, how many days? What's the tag?
I think normally it's like 1 month. I think we get like 1 month, 30 days, 30, 40 days.
Yeah.
30, 45 days to finish the entire score and not score, I mean the mix and the sound design. Yeah. Some films we get more. Even Marakkar also we got like more than 6 months actually. Yeah.
So Marakkar, that's due to the lockdown, I guess.
No, they gave a lot because there was a lot of CG work.
Okay.
And the Priyadarshan sir wanted the sound to be like good, take time. And even for mixing, they took a lot of time, detailed work, because there was no release date as such fixed. Like they had a good plan. They finished it pretty early. They gave a lot of time, things like that. Yeah.
Speaking of Marakkar, I was watching it a couple of days back on Prime, and great work, guys.
That's nice.
I was able to hear even the tiny, when the wind hits the wood of the boat, right? You even hear those
Mm-hmm.
sounds, be it the
Yes,
cloth floating
yes.
in the air. So great.
Right, right,
Tell
right.
me how much effort goes into these details.
Yeah, that's what there's like layers and layers of tracks, So my sound editors, it's a teamwork. So there's Foley. They would give the cloth flaps. My sound editors, they'll put a bend accordingly.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so we'll add some creaks. We'll let them add some more creaks. So we'll
Freaks,
sit
yeah.
over it. We'll do some more stuff. So it's a lot like layers. Maybe that scene itself, what you said, will have like around maybe like seven layers probably of
Wow,
7-8 layers of track just for that particular sound. S-
wow.
Yeah, so much detailing even for one like a sound. Even like for example, if a door is getting open, if there's door sound, we'll have at least 3-4 layers of it. Like the knob will be there, the creak,
Hmm. The
and
hand
the
touching
impact of
the
the
knob,
hand
yeah.
touching, and a lot of stuff in it, a lot of retailing and stuff.
So now, tell me, like you guys have been in the business for what, over 10 years now, nearly 10 years. Your IMDb says you
Eight
started
years,
out
yeah.
in, okay.
When
IMDb says you
yeah,
started
eight
in
probably.
2012, so okay, so it's
Hmm.
nearly 10. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Hmm.
so tell me, what have been the most challenging films or sequences that you have worked on, like things that have taught you something.
I think yeah, it is like uh, every film like pushes us. Like if you when you when we open up one of our old sessions, we see that like the the sounds which we're using and like the
Yeah.
layer what we're giving is less and stuff. Like it is every year. I think you understand things better, and sometimes you would be putting sounds for some scenes which is you would put it and you would not really hear it at the mix. So you
Hmm.
understand the concept of sound and psychoacoustics and filmmaking also, like like how the movie is being perceived also you understand over the years. When you
Hmm.
start, you do not really get it,
Hmm.
and it changes over the years. Like every
You learn
every
from every film.
every yeah, every director polishes us. Like they would tell something which would make us understand, and one film will push us to another film. Like in Kaidi there is a lorry sound, and now in Valimai there is another particular vehicle sound. So now, like we did not know how to record a vehicle then at starting off for when we started the business. Now we know like how 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 you place the mic, and like different angles of where you put the mic.
So
And
you actually you
Perceptions.
always do so
yeah,
you actually go place a mic in front of lorry and record it?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
We
yeah,
mic up the
like
Oh,
lorry inside, outside, nearby.
wow. Wow. So for instance, if a character say I watched Valimai trailer and there are scenes where the camera is inside sitting beside Ajit, right? So you
yeah,
place a different mic and record it separately from that angle also.
yeah, you have interior, exterior, you
Wow.
have like
Yeah.
different
I
perspectives.
think so. How many bikes you would have recorded for Valimai, Hari? Like
Yeah, it's quite a few
like
bikes. Like yeah,
How many?
easy.
crazy number of bikes.
Yeah, crazy number of bikes we've recorded because it has like super bikes. And sometimes like what you record is not, it's not optimal for things. So we interchange the sound. So we add layers to it, like
Wow.
design elements to it to make it sound like very sharp and stuff. Every movie we learn, and I think it you can't say any particular movie, and every movie is like over the years we polish ourselves and we understand the library better. We understand to use
Okay.
the gear better. Frequency spectrum gets better in terms of like so many things, and also time. Like eventually you do not get that amount of say. Initially, say in pizza it was just both of us working. Sachin used to do the running and stuff, and I used to record it. And then later we will patch the vehicle sound, and there was another person who used to patch the ambient sound. So it was only three of us doing all the job. So now over the years it changes. Like more number of department comes. If more number of people, like one person will go and record the field, one person will go and record the vehicle, one person will record something. So like, over the years, we understand that if more number of people are involved and like if it goes through many eyes, when the director sees, everything will be like, covered.
Yeah.
And what he sees and like, he corrects us again. I think it's just like, we should be ready to accept like from all ADs and directors and sound mixers,
All
different people like
suggestions from
teachers.
everyone.
Yeah.
What you just told was very fascinating because I watched some behind the scenes that I think for Top Gun sound designer, I think it's CC Hill or CC Hall. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So they used the sounds of lion for the planes. So to make it
We roar. Yeah.
the roar of lions
Yes.
Have you guys done any hacks like that? Because you're speaking
Yeah, we've
about
done it for
Valimai,
like
so
yes, we've done it for like fires. Like
okay.
we'll just give a growl. Even for cars, like like when the car is like some kind of a sports car, like when it opens up, there's always a growl layer underneath it.
Oh,
Yeah, I think for Ranam and all we have done that. Ranam, there's a film called Ranam
Malayalam.
in Malayalam, yeah. So there are some just car chase and all in that. So I think definitely we have used a layer of growls and stuff in it.
Wow.
Yeah. It'll give you the extra, there's an extra, the huge, will make it sound huge.
How does it feel to work on these massive action sequences? For instance, you did Marakkar, you have Valimai coming, you did Saira also, right? You did Saira
Yeah.
National. So there is a lot of see, of course, I get that you must be having this repertory of this library of sounds lying in your library. But do you still take the effort of going and recording the SWAT sounds again? How does that happen? How do you make the choice that I want to record this, or I can use what I have in my library? You must be right. How do you make that choice? Especially when it comes to these massive sequences where there's a lot of work involved.
Right. So in Marakkar, like the SWAT fight, so we can't use much of the libraries because Priyansa wanted to each SWAT to sound kind of different.
Okay.
So that we have to do a separate layer of foley work. So I told him give me like different kinds of sounds for the sword. So that we can't use the library at all. So we'll have maybe just a layer of it. So we have to improvise there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're speaking about Valimai. Tell me more about the sound process. No, the bikes. What all did you guys do?
Yeah, we've recorded like super bikes. We've recorded this thing. We've recorded in different proximities, and like we've layered it up. And like sometimes like the bike for example, super bikes what we record might not really be matching the sound. So we interchange with another bike.
You guys would go to set every day, or was it?
No, it's not over the
super
set.
bikes. Okay,
yeah. So it is the same. Like those guys, like the producers and director had retained the bikes in this Valimai trailer only. It has a lot of Duke, and it has Augusta, like a 1000cc vehicle, and it has Suzuki Beaking. So all these bikes were retained. And luckily, we can't record in the set because during the set there is so much other noise floor of the day giving directions to the actors, and there is crowd. There is so many things which is happening, which like we would not get that optimal time to record it. So we've also used an Yamaha MT vehicle by record by another foreign library person, and we got a dirt bike record outside. So like there are like, it is not like this particular it is not like a mechanical thing that this has to be used for this. Psychologically it has to connect. So whatever this thing does justice to it, we do it. So the production had retained all the bikes for us to record. I think that the director's choice that it has to sound, and so he had given value for the sound. So again, it's the support what you get from the director and the producers for the
Nice.
sounds. Yeah.
Right.
So Hari is the one who drove most of the bikes and
No.
was
There
was
are many.
recording.
There are many stunt vehicles. There are many stunt
Uh,
people who like. It is very hard to drive these bikes.
So
So like,
tell me, how do you exactly place the gear? Like, tell me, walk me through the physicality of it. Who holds the mic? Where do you place the mic
no,
when
actually,
someone is
you
driving
mic
it?
the driver up. Like you mic the
You
driver
can
up.
make the driver
And,
up also.
yeah.
Oh,
The
Still.
engine, the muffler.
okay, okay, wow, wow, wow. So now, do you guys have a preference between if you had to choose over one, sync sound or non-sync? Which one would you prefer? Which makes your work easier?
Now, since we have a dubbing studio, that'll be difficult to answer.
Okay, so that's
No,
gonna
just kidding,
affect
just
you.
kidding.
No, I get it. That's a very valid answer, to be honest. You have to survive.
But I would say definitely sing sound, definitely sing sound. We all love sing sound. We all love working in sing sound films. But well, performance is it's very different. It's what you capture on the set. It's very different and it's very real. The sounding automatically of the film, it turns very realistic.
Okay.
Yeah. But
So
dubbing, yeah, so
go
dubbing,
on,
but
go
yeah,
on.
some people definitely they don't like sing sound. They prefer dubbing so that they can improvise dialogues and they feel like on the set I'll concentrate more on my performance. I mean, like my acting skills. I mean, the dialogue stuff I will take care later in the post.
So when it comes to sync sound, do you guys still add a couple of layers to make it more cinematic, or do you like to keep it realistic? Or what?
No,
How is it?
definitely we add layers. We do foley. The sing sound, they basically just record the dialogues. So only the dialogues are getting
Okay,
captured.
so it's not the
Yeah.
atmosphere. Okay.
No. Atmospheric, they'll record as well. Whatever they'll record a layer, whatever there is. But over that, we will be layering more tracks. Definitely.
Yeah, everything. That's what it's a perception generally in sync sound that when you do sync sound, the other sounds are not recorded. No, all the sounds are recreated again. Just a dialogue.
Recreate. Just a
Yeah,
dialogue, yeah,
like
exactly.
What was the hardest film for you? Can we call? Can you pick some sequences or films that you felt that you had to scratch your head? Like I don't.
the previous question what you asked, like
Hmm.
when you do sync sound, what happens is now we did an Amazon series called Swirled by written by Pushkar and Gayatri. So what happens is the same series will come in another language. So when it comes in other language, you have to have M&Ds, like the effects separately. Sometimes one sequence I had just retained what is there in the dialogue this thing. But then later it went through QC and they wanted us to do effects again. Because
Oh,
because it has the language, like when it goes to another language, you have to recreate again. If you understand what I'm saying, like with the dialogue, the effect would have got recorded in the set.
oh, right.
Yeah. So when it comes to another language, you have to recreate. So I left one particular sound, and they asked again, like, so it's a wrong
Okay.
perception that when you do sync sound, the ambience and other stuff is also recorded. Ambience, it is recorded.
It is recorded. Yeah. Good.
But the other sound has to be recreated and to match that the thing. Yeah.
Tell me, how did you record all the punches and thuds of Rocky?
I used to hit Hari every day. I used to hit our boys.
No, nothing like we were like the Foley artist Pratap has also helped us. Like he like the blood layer and all these kind of stuff is being covered by the Foley artist, and we have like repository of, like as you said, we have a library which has like different like cutting of a vegetable, impact, recorded high sampling rates which we use, and like say stabs and stuff. Like we have a library where we like recorded hitting of beef. So we layer that. So it is mixture of everything. It has a mixture of Foley for the blood and stuff. It has our stuff which we record in the studio, and also it has layers of stuff which we've taken from the library. So like, and also like if there is a metal thing to it, we had like a metal ring to it to give it more impact. So I think it Rocky has it's complete as it's completely gore. It has all of our layers. Like mainly films like Rocky, we need a great support from the Foley team to make it as lively as possible. Like I think it's a Foley artist and the Foley recordist who gave us good samples for us, Rocky, for us to process and for a support for our work. And obviously, it was the mixing engineers thing to give highlight to the sound effects and the director's call, and you have to like make it sound as if it's coming from that particular room. And yeah, it is not only us, it is the mix engineer, it's like a Foley artist, all of us work to make it as realistic as possible. Yeah.
So there is a scene in Rocky where a road roller runs over a body, right? How did you record that sound?
Road roller, we've used a sample. We used a sample
Road
of
roller, yeah.
something
road
like a
roller,
road
yeah,
roller.
yeah.
Yeah. And like it is, breaking of bones is like we have sound of cartilage.
Vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was simple.
Yeah, like we layer sounds. Yeah. We layer sounds of
Yeah.
bone
Foley, that's what,
breaking.
as you said, the Foley girl gave a layer of, like some kind of flesh thing.
Wow.
And so we had those kind of breaking sounds, like take a vegetable, a pumpkin breaking or something like that. We have some layers to it.
Wow.
A watermelon breaking. Yeah, watermelon. That's the best option.
Wonderful. What's next for you guys? What are you working on? You're working on Vikram, right? You have Vikram coming up.
Yeah. Vikram, we're doing Connect as well. Connect, that's a pretty interesting project. Ashwin and Nayanthara. Yeah. And O2. There's another film called O2. Yeah, a couple of films. Island is there. So that also, I'm looking forward to that.
What's up with Island? What's up with Island? Is it in post? Is the shooting done? What's up with Island?
Yeah, shoot is kind of done. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So had a lovely time talking with you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Thanks, same here, man.
Thank you very much. I hope you had fun. Thank you, Hari. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks
man. Thanks, man.
giving your time and thank you.